Sheikh Hasina, the eldest daughter of Bangladesh's founding father Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, carries a weighty legacy. Thrust into the political spotlight by tragedy, she became a symbol of resilience after the assassination of her family in 1975. Her journey, marked by both exile and return, culminated in her becoming prime minister in 1996. Hasina's rise was not merely about lineage. She actively engaged in politics, leading the Awami League and championing democracy during turbulent times. Her commitment to social justice resonated with many Bangladeshis, especially the rural poor. Her electoral victories, while often challenged, demonstrated a significant base of support. Hasina's image as a strong, decisive leader appealed to those seeking stability and progress in a nation grappling with poverty and political volatility. However, even in this period of ascent, concerns about dynastic politics and the Awami League's dominance emerged. Critics pointed to a culture of impunity and the stifling of opposition voices, foreshadowing the controversies that would later engulf her rule. Sheikh Hasina's tenure as Prime Minister was marked by a concerted effort to improve the lives of ordinary Bangladeshis. Recognizing the need for economic development, her government prioritized poverty reduction programs and attracted foreign investment. The garment industry, a key driver of growth, flourished, lifting millions out of poverty. Beyond economic indicators, Hasina invested heavily in social development, particularly in education and healthcare. Literacy rates improved significantly, empowering a new generation. Access to healthcare, especially for women and children, expanded, contributing to a decline in infant mortality rates. These achievements, however, came against a backdrop of persistent challenges. Climate change posed an existential threat to Bangladesh, demanding significant resources and adaptation strategies. Corruption remained endemic, hindering equitable development and eroding public trust. Despite undeniable progress, Sheikh Hasina's later years in power were increasingly overshadowed by allegations of authoritarianism and human rights abuses. Her government exhibited a shrinking tolerance for dissent, cracking down on journalists, activists, and opposition figures. The Digital Security Act, enacted in 2018, drew widespread condemnation for its draconian provisions, effectively criminalizing free speech online. Enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings, often targeting critics of the government, became chillingly commonplace. The Awami League's grip on power tightened, raising concerns about the fairness of elections. Accusations of vote rigging, voter intimidation, and the suppression of opposition parties marred the electoral process, eroding democratic norms. The space for peaceful dissent shrank, creating a climate of fear and self-censorship. Section 4. A nation divided: protests and their aftermath. By 2023, simmering discontent with Sheikh Hasina's rule boiled over into widespread protests. Student-led demonstrations, initially sparked by road safety concerns, quickly morphed into a broader movement demanding accountability, transparency, and an end to corruption. The government's heavy-handed response to these protests further inflamed the situation. Peaceful demonstrations were met with excessive force, leading to injuries and deaths. The arrest of prominent activists and the imposition of internet shutdowns only fueled public anger. The international community, initially hesitant to criticize a key development partner, grew increasingly vocal in its condemnation of the violence and the erosion of democratic freedoms. Calls for dialogue and restraint went largely unheeded, as the cycle of protest and repression intensified, deepening divisions within Bangladeshi society. Section 5. Bangladesh at a crossroads. The events of recent years have left Bangladesh at a crossroads. Sheikh Hasina, once hailed as a champion of development and progress, now faces a deeply divided nation grappling with the legacy of her polarizing rule. The challenges confronting Bangladesh are immense. The most pressing task is to heal the wounds of the past and foster national reconciliation. This requires addressing the grievances of those who felt marginalized and silenced during Hasina's tenure. A genuine commitment to human rights, including freedom of expression and assembly, is paramount. Equally crucial is the need to strengthen democratic institutions and ensure free and fair elections. This entails undertaking electoral reforms, guaranteeing a level playing field for all political parties, and restoring public trust in the electoral process. The international community can play a constructive role by providing technical assistance and election monitoring. The path ahead for Bangladesh is fraught with uncertainty. Yet amidst the challenges, there is hope. A vibrant civil society, a young and dynamic population, and a legacy of resilience provide grounds for optimism. The choices made in the coming months and years will determine whether Bangladesh can overcome its current crisis and fulfill its potential as a democratic and prosperous nation.